Royal Navy update. Followers of Prophecy Workshop will know that, in my opinion, Great Britain is Tarshish in terms of Bible prophecy. The characteristics of Tarshish are as follows. It's a source of tin, silver, iron and lead, a Japhetic nation. In other words, descended from Noah's son Japheth. A merchant nation, a maritime nation, a nation with colonies. This time I want to give an update on the rise of Great Britain as a naval power. After the Second World War, the Royal Navy faced 70 years of decline, reflecting the spiritual decline of the nation. This decline was only reversed with the introduction of two new aircraft carriers, HMS Queen Elizabeth and HMS Prince of Wales. Fitting out of the first of these was completed in 2015. This 70-year period of decline is in line with Scripture. Isaiah chapter 23 verses 14 to 15. Howl, ye ships of Tarshish, for your strength is laid waste. And it shall come to pass in that day that Tyre shall be forgotten 70 years, according to the days of one king. After the end of 70 years shall Tyre sing as a harlot. The following chart shows how dramatically the Royal Navy shrank in the 70 years from 1945 to 2015. Obviously, there was a lot of shrinkage after the Second World War. And then since then, successive governments have just continually cut the Navy. Since 2015, however, the fortunes of the Royal Navy have started to turn around. The Royal Navy is getting bigger, with plans for a significant increase in its destroyer and frigate fleet. A new defence review is set to back a resurgence in shipbuilding, aiming to boost the number of frigates and destroyers to 25 vessels by the mid-2030s. This expansion includes building up to 28 warships and submarines, partly in response to growing global threats. The other Tarshish young lion nations of Canada, Australia, New Zealand and the USA are also increasing their naval power. Together, these nations will provide a major deterrent against the expansionist plans of other large naval powers. Australia has multiple recent naval deals, most notably a $10 billion deal to purchase 11 Megami-class frigates from Japan, and the AUKUS pact with the UK and US to acquire nuclear-powered submarines and share military technology. So, prophetically in the Bible, Tyre became Tarshish, which is Britain. You can see more about this on the website page, Great Britain is Tarshish. Tyre is portrayed as a harlot, or a harlot, and we see in Isaiah chapter 23 verse 17 that after 70 years she returns to her old trade. However, like the harlots who met Jesus in the New Testament, she will return to the Lord, and her wares shall be given to the King of Kings. Isaiah chapter 23 verse 18. And her merchandise and her hire shall be holiness to the Lord. It shall not be treasured up nor laid up, for her merchandise shall be for them that dwell before the Lord, to eat sufficiently and for durable clothing. So I did a video on HMS Hood a couple of years ago, and I said that we could expect to see Great Britain returning to her old money-loving ways and a revival in her navy. However, eventually the nation and all its wealth will be submitted to God. HMS Hood, by the way, was significant because it represented Britain as the world's greatest and most powerful navy, and after its sinking, Britain lost its status as having the greatest navy in the world, and that kind of passed over to the United States. So these signs are important because everything that happens in the world is happening on God's timetable. As we near the end, you will see God's plan perfectly coming into shape. Israel will enter into a time of peace and security, backed by the Tarshish nations, although this will only be temporary. When everything seems to be set fair, the final countdown will begin with the Gog-Magog invasion of Israel. When this invasion is destroyed by God, the nations of the world will have one last chance to turn to the true God before the Lord removes his people from the earth. There will then be no excuse for denying him, as he will have made his power and authority clear to the whole world. So thank you for listening. If you found this video interesting, you can find more information at prophecy-workshop.com.